Hi guys, my name is Mace. So explain what I've understood from this FNB Academy thing. Unit 1 at most, right? I'll try to use this Zulu or South African English or layman's English, right? So I'll start with my variables since we all know good Python is just a high level language, meaning that the person who knows how to speak English can read it, yet the computer can still interpret it into machine code, right? So qala ngama variables store information. I look at them as boxes with information, right? Kuyahluka ke ukuthi what type of information is in that box. Yonke box ngalenza ibox ngilinika igama engizolinika lona is just for me to remember. Let's say ngithini, this is Nike, right? Meaning that mangizothi Nike, i-computer izoyo-check-a kuma-boxes amaningi, khona ama-box amaningi, which is memory. Izoyo-check ukuthi oh ku-Nike kunani. Let's say phakathi kwe-Nike there's a shoe, right? There's a t-shirt. Okay, before ngiyana ku-t-shirt, right? So there's types of variables, right? Which is it can come as integer, string, float, boolean, and many more, but we'll work with the 4 for now, right? So let's say for instance name is a placeholder, right? For a box elu name phakathi faka, let's say uSipho. So ku-computer mangithi uname izongibuyisela bani? uSipho. That's what variable actually, the whole information, so that we use later, right? So I look at them as nouns. Then ukuthi is it integer, string, float, and all that? It's like a pronoun, right? There's pronouns for he or she or in. Then there's wonke umuntu unegama lakhe specifically, right? So I feel that is straightforward. Moving on, like what I was explaining now, there's integers. Integers are just ama number okubala from 1 up to infinity. Then ama float, ama decimal, which they show up anytime you divide. Anytime you divide, just know that go Python, anytime you divide, just know that a number is over as a float, right? Floating points. Then a string is just a sequence of characters, right? Siyibona ngani, sorry. A string siyibona nga double quotation or single quotation. Either one is valid. Then there's Boolean statements, which is true or false, yes or no, binary, 0 or 1. You see, so it's another data type. Oh, there's also none, which represent something, which is something is empty, right? Yeah, that's that about AMA variables, right? I think that is more thingy straightforward. Then moving on, we focus on strings, which is a type of variable, AMA strings. Right, ama strings, a computer mayibona ama strings, it looks at them as ganj. Say let's say name is equals to Mace. So a computer is of figure 8 name Mace. Then we use zero indexing, right? Which is 0, 1, 2, 3. Zero indexing just means good is kalukbala from 0 going up. Then with reverse or negative indexing, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, right? So there's so many things we can do. This gives us this power, which is equals to okay, from a string name, which is umaze, ngifuna the third character or the fourth character, right? Let's say I wanted the third character, which is S. Ngizothini name, then ngithi 2 izongibuyisela us kanjalo. Then another thing about string, you can concatenate them. So ngingathatha amagama amabili ngithi maze plus space plus kid, which is obviously maze kid kanje. Yeah, so that's another thing that is a superpower. about understanding a string in terms of lento le structure lesikuba ngathi is a list, right? So then there's F strings, which is formatted strings, is it helps us in printing, right? Like for instance, example like ChatGPT says name equals to John, then print F hello and curly brackets name. So with the name, since name is just a variable and variable can change anytime, so instead of John, let's say I'll change a legama ngithini sekumaze, I don't have to go and change it all like nalapha ku print statement. If we change a thing to Maze, the print statement will no longer say hello John, it will say hello Maze. So it helps you like that, you see. So with that, then also with slicing, let's say I just wanted the two middle letters of my name, which is Maze, I'll just say name, then square bracket, the start index, which is 1, the end index, which is 2, right? Start end bese zongibuyisela ubani AS, yabo. Then string sinama methods. Method is just associated functions or abilities. So it's things that it's like superpowers as a string. Is things that strings are capable of doing. So now that I have a name variable which holds igama uMaze, mangizoti u upper. So this is how you access a method. You say variable, then dot method. But method umbona these two brackets to show you that something is a method. So gule example ngizoti name dot up, which is Maze. This is letter uMaze, capital letter. There's so many methods which is lower. Uzothatha each and every character yenza lower thingy, not capital. Then a title you best see it if it's a larger sentence. So by title it means it will capitalize each and every first letter. So let's say I had a word like let me use lower letters. I am eating eating, right? Mangingasebenzisa title izobe yaseyithi I am eating. So it's just that method. Then I capitalize and strip. Strip yabon, the name say the name variable has 2 spaces, then Peter, then another 2 spaces. So mangizoti.strip, it goes to the name and takes empty spaces from front and the empty spaces at the back. It takes them away and gives me back only the characters, right? Same with replace. There's so many, I cannot go one by one, right? Then there's arithmetic operation, which is just the math inside the code, right? Which there's the 4 traditional ones that people recognize, which is plus, minus, multiply, divide, right? Then there is modulus and float division and exponents, right? Okay. I think like the first 4 are self-explanatory. Just know that the / le, it will always bring back a float. So say I say 4, 2. It's not equal to 2, but 2.0 because it's division, right? Then with the double thingy, is like a float division. Like for instance, mangati 4 divided by 5. 4 divided by 5 is like 0.8, right? Your needs of validity 0. It flows it down to the next integer, right? Then double. Then with modulus, it gives you the remainder after dividing. So yeah, we all know math, man. So yeah, then learner is just the same as 2 exponent 3, which is 8. So among it, this is what it means, right? Then there's other useful methods that are now associated to numbers, not strings. So which is absolute value. I believe that this is just math, guys. But in order to access this, you use it as if you are using methods. Then, okay, I think number 6 is important, the paired mass or order of precedence. So if computer doesn't read like humans when read numbers, it read left to right, meaning that 5 plus 2 times 3, it will say 5 plus 2, which is 7, times 3, which is 21. But in all actuality, 5 plus 2 times 3, using board mass or paired mass, bracket thingy, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. This is how they go. Precedent, meaning which one is more important. So from this, we know that multiply can also be used as a bracket, meaning so kalanga anything that is inside the bracket, which is 2 times this is 6 plus 5, which is 11. So the correct answer is 11. This is wrong. So you all remember that precedence thing. Then I think a lot of people are having issues here. 7 in terms of inputs, receiving inputs and whatnot. So whenever you call on input, must know it returns string data type. Be it I said 24, I said true, zonke zizoza as a string, right? It doesn't matter. So for example, the age input age. So when I run this code, the computer, before it goes to the print statement, it will ask me to enter something. Let's say I enter 24. When I enter the 24, then the print statement, it says type, the type of age is 24. But since into oitolaya from input is always a string, even if you type it as a number, the computer sees it as a string, hence the output yakona might be str, which is a string. Then we have typecasting, which is this thing of converting. You can convert it into integer, float, right? So what do? We wrap it. So the age is equals to integer, then input, then age, then right. Let's say mina ngiyafaka la ngithi 24. Sengifake lo 24 wami now. Right, sengifakele u24 wami, lo 24 mase ngimtholile kanje, then this is input. So since this is a string, mangizothi int, then ngivalele kanje. I'm telling the computer to take this string, turn it into an integer, meaning that sekuzoba a number ke seku 24. Now that I have the number, I can add on it. 24 plus 24 is 48. Kanjalo. But had I just taken it in njengafakanga this part, and I say, let's say 24 plus 6, izongibuyisela 246 instead of 30, and the correct answer lapho bekumele ku 30. So yeah, typecasting is good so that sikwazi uku sanitizer or to standardize the inputs we get from the user, since all inputs come in as strings, not as, be it we type what like it looks like a boolean, it looks like a number, it looks like a float, the computer sees it as a string. Hence you have to use typecasting and wrap it, right? So yeah, a practical example now, let's say the price, input price, ngamtshela umuntu akade afake price, since ama price anama cents, let's say into beyenza 5.50. So izofaka 5.50 lana input as the string. Then mangizothi float ngama bracket kanje izoconvert the price into a float. Now that the price is into the float, the quantity nayo, let's say ngithenga awu5, ngiyithena into an integer. So the total will be the price, which is the float, 5.50 times the quantity of, let's say 5. Then izokwazi ukuthi yenze the right arithmetic. But if ngayirepanga ngo-float nango-int lo, bekuzenzakalani, bengeke ngikwazi ukuyi-add. Let's say bezovele ithi 5.5 bese ngithi times thingy 5, which is invalid. We cannot multiply strings, so you need to first convert. Hence uzoyisebenzisa lento le. Then there's when you are printing, there's this traditional one, which is just print nama bracket. Then there's print layer f string, which is good when you have forever changing variables, names and age. Yabo. So yeah, it's good for that. Then also for this, yabo manje, like the formatted string gives you power to be able to like control the output ukuthi ufuna ukuthi iprinte kanjani. You see the first one, it will depend on what the variable name has. Let's say the name has Mace, then the age is 24. Then the next one is Sipho, the age is 16. Yabo. Lana ku the second one le your price. It helps you with, you see the 2F is saying that 2 decimal places. So it's like you can control the output when yourself. Yeah, well. Then moving on to lists. I'm a list, it works like how strings works. That's what I was saying. It's 0 indexed nayo. 0, 1, 2. Lana kuzobu banana, orange, apple, right? Same thing, it works like that. Okay. Igama kuqala, variable, which is fruit. This is the list of fruits, right? So I can access it in the same way I access mangabe bengenza string. So lena izonginika banana because it goes to position 1, right? If ngifuna ukumodifier, I could always just say fruit then 2. Let's say now ngifuna kube yini i-pear. Fruit 2 kunani bekune orange. Now all of a sudden I want to change it to pear because remember that variables are not before see no megupi. You must remember this is very important. Lists are ordered and they are mutable. Meaning mutable, that means you can change them later. To mute something, it means you can always change them later, right? Hence ngikwazi ukuthi ngithi from the list of fruit on index number 2, change it to pear. It was orange, change it to pear. So that's another power. Then now in our methods, which is append, insert, remove, pop, sort, reverse, and length, right? So the append one, mangzoti fruit dot. Remember a method we access a dot, then append. Let's say between the curly bracket, mele bese ngithi dragon fruit izofika la i-add the third one, it's in dragon fruit. Now the same thing, negative indexing works. Yeah, well, so insert, remove, you can always check what they do. For instance, now I have a numbers thingy list which is 5 to 8. Then it's in numbers, then invoke the method sort, meaning since some are numbers and numbers can be sorted, it will look at the data types. If numbers can be sorted, if they're numbers and numbers can be sorted, this will check what's the smallest number of the 3 is 2. So e result yalana izonginika ini e258 instead of 528. So that's how it does. The number tuples, they cannot be changed. It's a data type, but it cannot be changed. It works like, for instance, a point, x and y. Once on the point equals to 3.5, I want to later if we change, okay, I want it to be 3.6. You need to create a whole new one. Then we have dictionaries. A dictionary, like how we traditionally know it. We know it in a gamma, name, ngapa, definition, right? Ngapa we call it key, then value. Hence key value pairs, right? So the key could be name, then i-value yakhona Mace. Njalo kanjalo age, i-value yakhona 24. Let's say GPA, which is like a APS score. Since yangale it could be like a float, then I write it like that. So notice ukuthi this is a float, int, string, and they're all in the same data structure. That's another power Yama dictionary, right? So you use curly brackets for it and you separate them by the thingy colon. So to access, you use the key to access the value. So mangaza ngithini, the dictionary am begu students. Then ngithini, I want to access the age. This is of LBCT 24. So that's how it works. Then I'm not sure if people went to comparison operators, but comparison operators, they always give a true or false answer. right? It is good when you are comparing two variables, conditions, right? So leokala is called equal. This is not equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Let's have examples. For instance, it's going to 2 3 2 3 2 3 2 3 2 3 2 3. So let's see, is 2 equal to 3? This is false. Is 2 not equal to 3? This is true. 2 greater than 3? This is false. Is 2 less than 3? That's true. Is 2 greater than or equal to 3? That's false. Is 2 less than or equal to 3? That's true. You see, so they are good for when you want to compare two things. Yeah, bo. So for instance, lana iti age, we have a variable of age which has 20. So it's in print age is greater than or equal to 18. So is 20 greater than or equal to 18? Yes, it's greater than or equal to 18. So the print will print true. You see, then there's logical operators, right, which is and, or not. So logical operators is like moving on from comparison operators. It's like, let's say I wanted to compare two statements before so in the if statement. Let's say I wanted to compare 2 equals to 3 and, okay, let me just write it out, and 2 greater than or equal to 3. So this is a false statement. This is a false statement, meaning false. So true is equal to true. True, false equals to false. False, true is equals to false. False equals to false. So this is for and. So and means that both conditions have to be true in order for a statement to be true, or both have to be false. No, not they don't have to be false both in order for it to be false. But what I know is that for and, both conditions need to be true, right? Then for or, like either of them needs to be true. So 3 2 2 is equal to true. True false is equal to true. False true is equal to true. Then false is equal to false. So this is how it works. Then not, I don't know the best way to explain it, but it's like, can I not explain it? I don't think I have the best way to explain it. You can check it out. Then moving on to if statements, they help us to decide, for the code to decide, right? To be able to, like, if the condition is true, then this block should be executed. If not, move on, right? So for instance, it's in age 20. If age is greater than 18, print adult. Then if ngiza lapha and check, check it. If 20 is greater than equal to 18, which is a true statement, then print adult. But if it was 16 age, and say if age, which is 16, if 16 is greater than or equal to 18, print adult, which in this case is not, hence I print, right? Then for if else is like what will run if wako is not, it's not executed, right? So for instance, if ngina 16 ngizoyicheck la izothini, if age, which is 16, if 16 is greater than or 18, print adult. I'm not. Then else, that means I'm a minor. If I'm not greater than 18, that means I'm less than 18, I'm a minor. Then if, which is else if in full, it's an additional condition if the if condition stacks doesn't trigger, right? So now example yama marks, it says, let's say this person got 76. If their mark is greater than 75, it prints distinctions, right? Because 75 is greater than or equal to 76 is greater than or equal to 75, which is a distinction. But if, let's say, this person got a 55, this was a lie check it, is the mark greater than 75? No, I skip. If is the mark 55 greater than 50, greater than or equal to 50? Yes, then I print pass. Let's say this person got a 40. Is a checker. Is the mark greater or equal to 75? No, it skips. Is the mark, which is 40, greater than 50 or equal to 50? No, which it passes. Then else, since it checked all these other two, ayisena choice but to go to fail, meaning vele ufailile, right? Then for loop and while loop ngiyibheka ngokuthi the name suggests, I think the name suggests for isikhathi lesi yenza so, then while uma ngabe kusase nje keep on doing this unless something happens, right? That's for the while loop, right? So there's okay, for instance, if for loop ne mangizothi for I in range 5, range is an exclusive function, meaning mangizothi range 5, it means 0 1 2 3 4 excluding 5, angumfaka 5, right? So the print statement is also like 0 1 2 3 4 because it will do it for that range. And with range there's like 4 ways to represent it, which is this one and len, which is start included, this is end excluded, meaning is it 2 3 4 up until 7 ngeke umfaka u8, right? Then there's the last type of range, which is like 2 20. So start end and step, meaning zokala ku 2 4 6 up until 18. Remember, end is always excluded. It's just a stop criteria. Then with while loop, and also you need to notice something, that with for loop, you don't need to increment anything. Yona automatically it will work with what the window you given it. If range of 5, meaning is guy 5. If range is 6, is guy 6, right? For 6 steps. Then with the while loop, certain condition must be true, right? So for instance, 18 count is equal to 0, while count is less than 18, print count. Then not 18, while count is less than 5, print count, right? So what happens there, we have a variable called count, né? While count is less than 5, then print count, né? So count plus or equal to 1. So what happens is that I'm going to count bogu 0 is a check. Is count less than 5, which is 0 less than 5? That's true. So print count. Print to 0. Then it ends in add count, because this means to add count. You see. Okay, let me just write it the traditional way. This is another way to shorten out. So it's like count is equals to count plus 1. So the count we just printed was 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So siyabuya futhi because the while condition is still true. So siyachecka futhi. Is 1 less than 5? Yes. Print. Print. Is 2, then ngiyeza 1 plus 1 is 2. Is 2 less than 5? Yes, print. Anjalo up until ngifika ku 5. 5 less than? No. If the condition doesn't hold, then stop, right? Then there's a thing called break and continue. A break is that puma gu loop. Anti-loop is always repeating. It tells the computer to stop. So for I in range 10, if I equals to 5, break. Then kumblungute go range ngithe izobala from 0 up until 9. Or up until the number before 10, right? So izokala 0 is 0. So if I is equals to 5, break. So 0 is not equal to 5, it skips up until if you go 5, then if you go 5 is a break. With continue, it just, so for instance, it for I in range 10, if I equals to 5, you continue and print I. Right, so this function will only print u5 kuzo zonke number, because it only actually